Welcome to DDS. Real fans, real sports talk. No BS. We're your hosts, Blake Melton, Bradley Newberry, and the man, Matthew Parker. Parker, what's going on, dude?
My tongue is healed from the beast, and I am ready to go.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay. Shout out to the beast.
Shout out to the Dad Code podcast on a different channel.
Yeah, you want to check that out, head over to the Dad Code podcast YouTube channel, like and subscribe there, hit the thumbs up button, notification bell, all that good stuff. See this guy get his face burn off.
Yeah.
But
Horrible joke that we played.
Oh, don't worry. I have a present coming for you guys.
Yes. Yes.
Welcome to the College Prediction Show. We're going to start off by going to Knoxville, Tennessee, the 9-0. Number 1, University of Georgia Bulldogs visit the 5-4 Tennessee Vols. The line is floating somewhere between 20 and 21 points. Georgia is allowing only 6.6 points per game. Georgia has won 4 in a row. I don't believe that the Vols are going to be held to 6 here, Coach Blake.
Interesting factoid here. Josh Heupel has never scored less than 14 points as a head coach.
All right.
And Georgia has not allowed more than 13 this year. Somebody's at 0 and that column has to go there. It's going to be interesting here. By the way, they're doing the dark mode jerseys again. It's homecoming. They put it to a vote for the players. The players said, hey, let's go dark mode. We'll just have to see. There's a lot of what ifs here in this game. I don't know if Tennessee ultimately has the depth to be able to pull it off, but very high octane, high powered offense going against what many consider to be an NFL defense.
Yeah, and you said they gave up 13 points twice, and this vaulted defense we hear about, those 13 points that they gave up twice, South Carolina and Kentucky.
Wow, that's an interesting fact.
It is. And the team total for UT on this is 17.5. Vegas is begging you to take the over on this because I think they think it's going to be more than that. And but man, I've spent some time. We had an extra day to prep for this, so I really dug into some stuff. And I wanted to look at this Georgia defense, trying to find their weakness. And there's not one right now. Georgia's second in the nation in total defense, second in pass defense, and second in first downs given up. 232 yards a game. They have the number 1 red zone defense. They're top 15 in third down conversion defense. They have 3 blocked kicks and 2 blocked punts. They're tied for 8th in defensive touchdowns. Their kick return defense is even the top 3. I mean, I've mentioned to y'all before we started this, I was going through stat after stat after stat, and the only time I could not find them in the top 20 of anything was when I accidentally just missed their names.
Yeah. I mean, I will say, so this is a good illustration as to the difference in depth between these two teams. It was reported that Georgia starting outside linebacker Adam Anderson turned himself into police for an alleged rape charge, which, I mean, we all hope that is false. We as Tennessee fans know about false accusations, and I hope that that's the case here. But where they have an outside linebacker that goes down, they can just plug and play with another 5-star recruit. Tennessee has that happen. It's not going to be the same story.
No, they're putting a tight end at linebacker.
Exactly.
Or running back at linebacker.
Exactly.
Boy, we thought coming into this year in the SEC East prediction show that the secondary of Georgia would be tested quite a few times. A little turnover there with cornerbacks and safeties. But what has proven out over the year, Blake and Parker, is that defensive line, NFL defensive line playing for Georgia, they don't have to cover, but for maybe 1.5 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be the big challenge for Tennessee in this game is the O-line has to bend and not break. I mean, they have to accept that there's going to be times that things are going to break down. They're going to have to use their scheme, their speed, their pace of play, rather, to maybe try to catch them off guard. I mean, offensive keys to this game, Hendon Hooker has to continue his stellar play.
I believe he will.
He has to. No picks, no fumbles. And the running backs and wide receivers have to make plays in space. They have to.
we did. The secondary is the weakest part of this team, we think, but no one has tested them all year. The person that went the deepest on them the most is Bo Nix.
Yeah.
That is it. And Cade Mays is going to be back in this game to help Hendon Hooker. Hopefully he can test them where they're weakest. No one has tested them all year. And you speak of running backs, I believe we're injured and starting a freshman running back in this game. So this is Hooker vertical passing game written all over it. And I look at this defense. We talk about the secondary. Who have they played? Who has Georgia played at quarterback this year?
Richardson from the Gators. Ooh.
That should have been Emory Jones. They really haven't been pushed.
The best player they have played all year is Bo Nix.
Wow.
That's not saying a whole lot in my opinion.
The first potential NFL quarterback they're going to play is this one, Hooker. And if you even go back and look at the Gators game, the Gators outgained Georgia. The Gators just went 0 for 4 in the red zone. You know, that's not going to happen. That should be at least a 50% thing. Tennessee has the number one tempo offense in the country. And so far, Georgia, the fastest one they played again, Bo Nix in Auburn was in the mid-30s.
Yeah, and I mean, that can't be stated enough about the pace of this offense because, I mean, Nick Saban said it a few weeks ago. It's so difficult to prepare for this offense because your scout team has to know what play to run, so you really can't simulate the time between plays that they run it at. But, yeah, I mean, I feel very confident that offensively Tennessee is going to be probably the biggest challenge that Georgia's faced this year, in my opinion. I think for Tennessee, it's really going to be can they do anything on defense? Because let me tell you right now, they cannot produce what they did last week on the field. And, I mean, with that being said, I mean, we were just talking, they're 126 on third down defense. That can't happen. That can't happen. There's no reason not to just dial up something crazy. I don't care if you do a corner blitz, a safety blitz, and just bring the house 3 downs in a row. What's the worst that could happen? You give the ball back to your offense and score and go take a break. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? I mean, we're just so thin on defense, and quite frankly, we're just outmatched.
Going to go from 126 to 130th.
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, we're talking about falling where we're going to fall to the bottom, which is 130th. I mean, good grief. Why not dial up some crazy blitzes? That's really all we can really do on offense. I mean, defense, excuse me.
Would anybody be shocked if this is the game that they go against the grain and actually try to play some possession on offense?
I don't think they will.
I don't think they have the running backs.
I don't think Heupel has this.
Not even to try to help this 126th rated defense.
But what I'm saying is why not just dial up blitzes? If you get burnt, you get burnt. Who gives a shit?
Yeah,
blitzes, at least you're giving it back to your offense where you have a chance.
But they were just on the field 99 plays last week.
That's my point. I mean,
they can't blitz all the time on 99 plays. They barely stand up, Parker.
Yeah, I literally wrote that down. That's one of the keys I think to this game is that the defense was on the field 80% of the game last week, and at some point, there's going to be gassed. I mean, because just like Blake was saying, going to this, if you're a starter, you're out there. You know, there's no rolling in backups. There's not a whole lot of depth on this team. There's no depth on this team.
Yeah.
And they could absolutely get gassed, which I think is really kind of the key to this game.
Well, I mean, and what I'm saying is don't blitz every play. I'm just saying be more aggressive with your blitzes because, I mean, if you're getting tired, why not blitz? Because you're going to get burned anyway.
That's true. And I know Tennessee sitting here at 5-4, and I know I'm in the bright orange shirt here, but I think we learned more about Georgia in this game than we have all year because it's just such a different offense that they're going to face. They're going to have to stop an explosive offense, which they could. I don't know. They come out and blank them, and they're going to have to score theoretically, and they haven't had to do either one of those all year.
Well, I mean, and like Bradley and I talked about in the Kentucky game, it's very important for Tennessee to start early. They got to start fast, and they got to play from ahead.
I think Parker likes something with starting early this week.
Yeah, I really do. I like Tennessee in the first half. I mean, I'm betting Tennessee to be winning at halftime.
I wouldn't be shocked.
Wouldn't be shocked at all.
It's 11.5 point spread in the first half. There's that and a little bit on the money line on it. The second half, I think, is a different story. First half, though, I really think they can hang with this team.
I'm with you.
I wrote down, dude, the hype around Heupel is real, and people in Georgia are feeling it. Joe Vitale from Ugga Wire says, and I quote, "Even though this football team hasn't been good since the early 2000s, the fans and their Twitter presence is the absolute strongest and most annoying I've ever seen."
Vol Twitter is legit.
Vols fans, the players, the buy-in is there. He's letting the team pick the jersey color, which I think is cool. And the hype around Hype was real, though.
I mean, the fan base is what everybody hates,
They're pumped
but
up.
it's what Tennessee. I mean, it's also what makes kids want to come play at Tennessee because the hype is crazy around Knoxville when it gets football season.
Win or lose, it doesn't matter. There's going to be a lot of recruits at this game. They're in
Yep.
the black. The crowd is going to be nuts.
Mm-hmm.
It reminds me of the game a couple of years ago. I was at it. Tennessee was down 21-3 to Georgia. I think it was at halftime, and they came back and won, and it was just insane. That was I forget, what was that, 2016? But
2015, 2016.
somewhere
one
around
of
there.
those
It was
two,
a great. It was one of the great games at home in Tennessee history, and I think this could kind of match it. I don't think Tennessee wins outright, but I'm not going to be absolutely shocked if this game ends within a one-score game.
I'm the same way. I guess I'll go ahead and start because I feel everybody beating around the bush here. But
We're scared to.
so I've
put it out there.
only written down a score here,
Okay.
and I've written down a score of 33-27. Now I really want to pick Tennessee to win this, and like Parker said, it would not surprise me. There's two questions: can Tennessee win, and will they win? Can they win? They can absolutely win. They could sneak up on somebody if they get a pick six, if they get Georgia to punt one or two times in the game. Anything can happen if the offense is clicking and we play defense for 2 series or something. But I think ultimately the lack of depth against what is, a very good defense, I think ultimately it will win out. And I'm going to go Georgia 33-27, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's the other way around.
This is a tough one. Georgia only averages giving up 13 first downs per game, and Tennessee gets about 26. I think that's kind of where the key on this is. Tennessee needs to get first downs. If they go 3 and out, they're down 21-0.
Keep the ball moving.
It's going to be tough.
Yeah.
I will say, though, that even if you're down 21-0, this game could still be worth watching because this team can score and they can score fast. This isn't Tennessee of old where they get down by 2 scores and, that's the game.
Yep.
They can score, and I am very tempted.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very tempted. But I think Tennessee blows the 13 out of the water. I don't even think it's close. I think they double that up at least. I'm going to go. I can't do it. I want to 31-27 Georgia, but there's definitely a real possibility. I do think Tennessee leads at halftime, though. I will say that.
I could see it.
CBS game of the week, by the way. A lot of eyes on this game.
I could see it. I could see the halftime score being 10-7 UT, 13-7 UT, 13-10 UT, 10-10 tie. Second half, I feel like it's just, God, it's going to be too much, man. I've seen Georgia too many times this year. And as much as I've, over the year, have bought into some of this that's going on in Knoxville, and I own an 8-1 record at picking UT games, I can't do it either. I can't pick the ball. I can't. I'm going to go. I think UT is either tied or winning at halftime, but I think it just runs out. 33-13, Georgia.
Oh, wow.
I think the balls get blanked in the second half.
It could. That's what happened to Alabama. You know, that score doesn't say it. Just like 33-13 probably wouldn't say how the game really went. But what makes me happy
runs out of gas.
We're sitting here on a 20-point line talking about there even being a chance,
Yeah,
which is fun. I mean, we're on the right track. These are not Heupel's players. We were the most impacted by the transfer portal than any team in the country, and we have a chance to beat one of the best defenses of all time that people talk about. I mean, and it's just fun to know that we're on the right track. And I really think if they continue down this road in 2 years, maybe next year, Tennessee could be legit.
The hype is real.
Yep. Moving on. Gainesville, Samford at Florida Gators. Literally, my notes are a squiggly line. I've got nothing. We were looking at who were some of the players that came out of Samford. What did you find, Parker?
I found, actually, I can't even believe I didn't know this one. Cortland Finnegan.
Okay.
Yeah, famous Titan. James Bradbury, big time guy. After that, you get a bunch of people you may or may not have heard of, but those are the two big ones.
What is a Samford?
Is it a dog?
That's what I wrote down. What is a
Is it a
Samford?
bulldog? It's a beastly looking dog.
Yes.
Whatever. I don't know. Only thing I have to say about this game, if Dan Mullen even comes close to freaking losing this game, he should be fired before he leaves the field. And he should be stood out in the middle of the field on the 50-yard line, and it should be a public firing. The players can coach themselves from here for the rest of the year.
I don't disagree. Much like Bradley, I wrote down, I don't need to give much analysis about this one. Florida wins by 5 touchdowns. If they don't win by at least 30, they should count it as a loss.
Yeah, I mean, this is similar to what I was saying about the Vandy game. They won by 42, but is that enough?
I think at this point, Florida just needs to win and move on. But I got nothing because I have no prediction about. Is it going to be Richardson coming off of his dancing injury? Is it going to be Jones?
Geez.
Are they going to want to run the ball? Are they going to want to have the tight end playing quarterback? Who knows?
Does everybody still have the flu?
Who knows? I don't.
They've got to be getting over it. But I was trying to see how much Florida was paying for this ridiculous game.
Oh, good Lord. It's probably $4 million
They are
or
giving
something.
Samford a check.
Yeah. Oh, man. When Mullen faces FCS foes, by the way, he wins by an average of 45.8 points. Yeah, I don't see the amount.
I don't
They're
know.
too embarrassed to post it.
Yeah, it's funding Samford's football program for the next 2 years. Probably.
Exactly. You're welcome, Samford. You're
The
welcome.
line, by the way, is 32.
Maybe Mullen goes to Samford next year.
Yeah, he's interviewing. That's what it is. He's getting money from Florida to pay for his salary when he goes to Samford.
I mean, we do appreciate the interview that you gave us last week. But, I mean, I'm going. There's not much here to say. I'm going Florida 30-0, and I got nothing else to say about it.
45-3.
I've got it at 35-0, and it better be at least 35.
They should hang a 50 burger on this team.
They should. I mean, this is a good game to just go out there and just kill somebody.
Just whip. Just get right. Feel
Figuratively, I'm not talking about physically killing people, which we all know the University of Florida produces plenty of killers. Oops. Did I cross the line there? Sorry.
Maybe Alabama these days.
Maybe.
better. Yeah,
Rogues.
that's
Hard.
true.
Can't argue that.
Texas A&M at Ole Miss. Both teams coming into the game at 7-2. A&M on a 4-game winning streak. This is really, though, only their second true SEC road game. Ole Miss is 5-0 at home. This should be fun, right, Parker?
I think so. I mean, Arkansas put up 250 yards against A&M's defense. Those were on a couple of chunk plays, but Arkansas and Ole Miss have a very similar kind of offense. Ole Miss, though, did barely hold on last week against Liberty. I know they covered, but if you watched it, they could have lost that game. But I think a lot of people are going to see Ole Miss and they just automatically think earlier in the year and they think offense, which is true. But man, they're not the same team. Corral's hurt, offensive line's hurt. They're missing like their top 3 wide receivers. You name it, they're hurt. It was Tennessee actually that knocked Corral out. It was, remember, Kiffin had him run like 32 times.
Yeah.
I just think they're not the same team they were.
It feels like Calzada's stepping up a little bit, Blake.
Yeah, whatever.
I mean, he's looked better.
I mean, but relative to where he was, I mean, if he threw for 180 yards, he would look better.
True, because where he started was that
I mean,
debacle in Colorado,
bad.
right?
It was so bad.
We were all afraid
Yeah.
he was about to lose to Colorado
Yeah.
in SEC.
I don't know. It's tough for me. particularly when you get in marquee games, which this is kind of more of a marquee game, two big name coaches going against each other. Can Calzada step up, and can he be the guy? I mean, I think Corral can. I think he's got that in him. But like you said, I mean, everybody's kind of banged up on the Ole Miss side, but sometimes that can galvanize a team. They can play together and they can pull things together. I'm super bitter on A&M because we were all so high on them at the beginning of the year, and they just came out and laid a big fraudulent egg.
Yeah, they stunk at the beginning of the year. They've turned it around of late. I mean, this is going to be the best quarterback.
They've turned it around when it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, no,
it does not matter anymore. It's easy to turn it around when you have lower expectations.
It is, but I mean, they did beat Bama. They're on a little win streak, and Calzada, as Bradley said, has looked better. And I don't know that matters in this game because Ole Miss can't stop the run. I mean, I think Calzada's going to pass the ball like 18 times in this game. They're just going to run it, control the clock because they play that up-tempo offense, which Texas A&M can control the clock, unlike Tennessee. They're just going to keep running their offense. I expect them to run this ball like 70% of the time. I just think that they can run all over Ole Miss, get the lead. The key to that's getting the lead. Now, if Ole Miss comes out and tries to do what we want Tennessee to do and go up 14-0, then Calzada's going to have to come back.
Well, we know that Ole Miss makes himself comfortable on the football field by laying down if they have to. So, I mean,
they may bring their pillows to this
that's
game.
what I'm saying. They might have their Snuggies on out there and their bean bags out in the middle of the field by the end of the game.
Have either one of you looked up to see, because I see 7-2 records, could either one of these sneak past Alabama if Alabama slips up again? A&M holds a tiebreaker, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's
so it could be bigger than I think.
It really could. I hate saying that just because I'm not convinced on A&M still.
I sat here last week and said this, and I'm going to say it again. I still think Texas A&M goes to the SEC championship over Alabama.
Wow.
I mean, I predicted it at the beginning, but not in this way. Not in this.
No.
Yeah, this is not how I.
No, but Alabama's still got Arkansas left. Auburn left. I think they lose one of those two games.
They very well could.
This is going to be big for both.
Yeah,
both of these teams are at 7-2.
This is a huge game,
especially A&M because they beat Bama, so they have that tiebreaker.
How much chaos does it make if Ole Miss does beat them?
Oh, that's a lot.
I just cheer for chaos. I don't care.
I know.
Just if you're looking at the top 10 in the college football, just bring it on. I want them all to lose.
Yeah. I'm not teasing my pick very well.
You want to start? Who wants to start?
I'm going to go ahead and say it. I didn't think I could do it, but I'm going to say A&M's going down. I think Lane Kiffin is going to scratch and claw and figure out ways to scheme his way into a victory here. I don't know how exactly. I'm just still not convinced A&M is the team that we all thought. I mean, they've proven that they're not the team we thought they were. But that and kind of like the idea of some chaos.
You trust in Kiffin.
I might kind of threw up a little bit.
Doing
there
some beefs to wash that down.
Golly.
Matt Corral was able to sit back in the pocket versus Liberty because he's hurt. He can't run like he could. But good luck doing that against A&M. If he can't run, he's going to get absolutely crushed. And I think that's what's going to happen. I talked about A&M beating Auburn easily. I think this is going to be the same outcome. I expect the Aggies defense to win this game. Bradley, you love it. Defense and run. That's the keys.
Nice. I think that this will be a crazy game. Not as crazy as Arkansas Ole Miss, but I think it'll be crazier than a defensive battle. I'm going field goal game, Blake, 31-28. A&M.
Okay. Could see it. Very well could see that.
It is underdog time where we have to identify a team that's not supposed to win. And they're going to just straight up go in and ball out, Blake. Have you identified such a team?
Well, I've identified a game where it is a total pool noodle game. We have two pool noodles playing each other here in South Carolina and Missouri. Right now, South Carolina's favored by 1.5 points. I guess they think that they're riding high at the moment, but I just think they're bad. I really do. Missouri's bad too. I mean, for me, this is about as it's a pool noodle pick'em game, is the way I would put it. And I'm going to go Missouri just because I think South Carolina needs to remain at the bottom where they belong. Though South Carolina remains at the bottom. In Missouri, I hope this is your last victory as being in the SEC. If by some miracle you get kicked out of the SEC, but it won't ever happen. But
South Carolina,
I hate you both.
Riding high off of a big victory, putting up a 40 burger against the Gators, Parker.
Whatever.
I've got more on that one in a minute, but I'm going to jump into my underdog, and I'm going down to the great state of Florida.
All right.
Florida State to straight up beat our favorite team, Miami Hurricanes. Florida State got bad luck last week. I don't know what was going on in the state of Florida, but they got hit much like Florida did with the flu. Half the team was out. Jordan Travis is going to be back at quarterback, and Miami's recent hot streak comes to an end. Florida State wins, I think, by 2 scores.
Woo!
We can't have a college prediction show without talking about Iowa, so I will do just that.
Oh, boy.
I'm going Minnesota Golden Gophers over Iowa in this game. This could be a snow game, gentlemen. They're calling for snow. Iowa they totaled 14 points. Before last week's 17-12 victory.
A terrible score.
I mean,
17-12.
I don't know this. I don't even care what the line is, but I just like to pick on Iowa at this point.
So easy.
Seeing snow in the forecast makes it even better and more watchable for me. So I'm going Minnesota 12, Iowa 9.
This is when they're going to score like 31-27 because both these schools live in the snow. They're more used to walking in the snow. I've been to Iowa once. It's the worst place on earth.
Wow.
I literally, my wife's family is from up there, and as we started to leave, I looked at her and I go, if there's anything you want to show me, you need to show me now because I am never coming back.
That's awesome. Oof. So you said you got something to say about this South Carolina Missouri game.
Does.
Yes,
Yeah,
best bet time. And I'm over here with Team Blake on this. Missouri is going to hand it to South Carolina. It is going to be a drubbing of a 14-21 point beatdown. This is an overreaction game. I know Missouri is awful, but South Carolina should be worse than Vanderbilt.
Yep.
They beat Vanderbilt because they got lucky. This is an overreaction to beating a flu-stricken Florida game. Congratulations. You're able to beat a bad Florida team now with no players. Get ready to be let down. Missouri covered their first game of the year last week. They were the only team to not cover in college football, and they covered that 40-point spread last week against Georgia. And that was without their quarterback. This week, Connor, Bazelak. I was about to say something else. Connor Bazelak is back. Missouri rolls at home, and South Carolina goes back to the bottom of the barrel.
Bye, Felicia.
I'll do my best bet. I'm taking an underdog here. I'm going to take 7 points with the UCF. Can't even say my letters right today.
Jesus.
Central Florida +7 over SMU. The Mustangs have lost 2 straight games. Central Florida has won 3 straight games. I think Gus Malzahn and crew keep it going. Take Central Florida +7. Maybe even a straight up victory.
I got a cupcake here. Easy one to pick here. I think Kentucky is pissed. I think they're going to go into Nashville and paint that entire stadium blue. Right now they're favored by 21. I think this is a 35-0 game here. They're going to absolutely trounce Vandy and embarrass them at home, just like everybody else has.
Jesus, they're favored by 21. When can Kentucky ever be favored by 21?
In basketball?
God, Vandy's bad.
It's an absolute red-ass game. I'm telling you right now. All right, well, anybody got anything else down there?
Bonus bet. Oregon State covers.
Boom. Hey, speaking of bonus bets, Purdue, Ohio State.
21
Can
points.
the Giant Killers strike again? I'm rooting for the Boilermakers. I really am.
I'm rooting for
Give
Purdue.
me chaos.
I'm rooting for Baylor this week. Just didn't have enough gumption to pick either
Absolutely. Well, guys, hey, thanks for joining us on this, our College Picks show. Be sure to join us at DDS Sports Talk on Twitter. Let's get the conversation started there. Tell me, is Purdue going to shock the world again? Man, that'd be great.
Is the Vols, or are the Vols going to shock the world? I was going to put this up, but forgot about the headset.
Well,
And my question, will Dan Mullen shock the world, drop the rope, and lose to
oh
Samford?
my gosh. Go Big Orange. You guys be well.